Good evening, lovers of cardboard all around the world. And it feels really weird saying that, but you must know why I'm saying that because of what we're talking about today, and that is the Nintendo Labo. As I got the chance to go try out the Nintendo Labo down at Nintendo NY at Rockefeller Center in New York City. Now, although it is too late to apply, today what I went to was the first session of the first day, which was the day that the Labo actually came out. And although I do not own the Labo myself, me having had the chance to go ahead and try out the Labo with a few other people who were at the event as well was in fact very fun. I already expected myself to have fun with the Labo, considering the fact of just the premise of the fact of being able to play with cardboard and the fact of playing with cardboard already made it hilarious in that kind of sense. But actually trying out the Labo, actually creating one of my own toy cons was actually very interesting because as somebody who has done robotics before, I've never actually done something where I was literally hands-on with a robot. Back before, I used to just do the measurements, and the fact that I was actually taking part in constructing a robot was actually pretty cool, pretty fun, and it can be difficult, as I've heard. One of the staff members who was who was conducting the Labo event, said that the the Robo Toy-Con, took her 5 hours just by herself, 5 hours to make. Which means if you want to do this and also have some fun while actually creating it, I would suggest to bring a friend along and have them do all the work while you just watch them. But no, if you do have a friend along, you can have them just take the Joy-Con and flip through the instructions, and then you guys can take turns building it, like how we did at the event. Now, what my side of the table did, what my group had did, was we had did the Moto Bug, and we were going to do the fishing pole, but we ran out of time to do that, and so instead they just had us play with all of the ones that were already finished. Now, with constructing the Motobug, it's pretty sturdy actually. The main problem would be just making sure that you're actually folding on the dotted line, which is that's the main problem for all of them, honestly. Is just to make sure that you're very precise with how you fold, or else you can have very minuscule errors, but those minuscule errors don't really hurt the entire premise, the entire functionality of the Labo. There are some issues, I would say, with the Motorbug specifically, sliding the Joy-Con in. It does feel like you're sliding in, like you're sliding them onto a Switch, but it does feel like they can fall out of place a bit. However, that isn't really as much of an issue because the fact that they will still work. I would just say that if you want the best accuracy, at least try to just make sure that you're folding it correctly and putting your Joy-Cons in correctly. I would say that for all of them, just in case, because I didn't get to try out all of them. I didn't get to try out the Robo, and I did not get to try out the House. Those are the two I didn't get to try out because we ran out of time. But the ones that I did get to try out was the Labo motorcycle, the Labo fishing pole, the Labo piano, and Motobug. And with the Motobug, since that was the first one we did, I guess I should explain how it works. If you don't know already, when you put the Joy-Cons in, you're actually able to control the vibrations, how fast and how slow the vibrations are through the Switch, and there's a different side for each Joy-Con, and you can actually delve further into the tools of the Labo by actually having a silver tape on. It's like this little stand, and one of the things that you can actually do is that you can point it. You can use the IR camera to send the right Joy-Con, the red Joy-Con, and it'll actually follow the silver tape on its own if you set it to auto, or there's going to be like a little black camera. Normally it's green, but if you're going to do auto mode, you can actually have it detect the silver camera and it'll move on its own, like how I guess one of the Labo trailers showed off, that you could have like a little maze, create little mazes where the goal is to actually find the tape. One of the things that we also did was have battles, as since there were three of us at one table. It was me and one other person making a Toy-Con Motobug, and there was also another YouTuber actually making his own Toy-Con, and we had and we had ours battle. And when you're about to battle, there's a little bell that you can ring that starts the match. And when either of the moto bugs fall over, it'll have an explosion. And I guess what causes the explosion is the fact that it looks up in the sky. But either way, the second one I tried was actually the motorcycle. And honestly, I had the most fun with that one, I would say. Out of all the ones I got to try, the motorcycle was the most fun because it felt like you were. I've never done VR before. I've never played VR before, but it felt like VR, like the peripheral. The fact that you're actually cranking the motorcycle. I don't know motorcycle terms, the functions, the parts of a motorcycle, but the fact that you're actually like revving the engine, and like you can, it uses motion controls obviously, but the fact that you're actually like moving side to side, it feels like you're riding a real motorcycle, and it kind of is like Mario Kart, where at standard it's at 200cc. So actually, that might be what controls how fast it goes, because there's 200cc, I believe 400cc, and 800cc. But there's different CCs, so that is what controls how fast it goes, not the beginner, intermediate, and hard and advanced mode. Next would be the fishing pole. I did the fishing Toy-Con, and it was pretty fun. It was pretty enjoyable to see the fact that there was actually you could actually go deep into the sea and even hit the ground. It's not very deep, but it feels like a lot to reel back when you're trying to get the fish out. But there's one issue I did have with that specific Toy-Con, and that was that when you get a fish, I think the Joy-Con vibrates only that one time. And I thought that it would vibrate as I'm trying to get the fish out, and that kind of really takes me out of the experience, because now I just feel like I'm rolling back, I'm reeling in this fish, and I'm pulling back, but it's like I don't really feel like it's fighting back. I just feel like the game just says, oh, it let the fish let go on its own. That's it. So it doesn't really feel like I'm playing it as much, I guess. There's definitely that disconnection of what I'm doing and what the game is also giving me as feedback. So that's the only one. That's the only major issue I had with the Toy-Cons. That just the fishing pole one. And the last one I tried out was the piano. Since again we ran out of time, and the piano was actually, I didn't get to go in depth into it, but hearing the different voices, hearing the different keys, the fact that it actually works like a real piano was very interesting. And the fact that you can also create your own beats. I don't know if you'll be able to save them, but if that would be really interesting, if you could save like your own recordings onto your SD card or your system memory, and then actually just have your own music, create your own music. That would be very interesting to, just the fact that there's gonna be that the Nintendo Switch can have its own music maker as well. I know there are some apps like, I believe, Musyncs that's coming out very soon, or that already did come out, that is like a music app for the Switch. But having an official Nintendo one also means that, hey, they're at least considering different topics, different ideas for kids to have fun and enjoy. Other than that, the event was very fun. I enjoyed myself. I got to meet some new people. I got to meet Etika. I got to meet somebody from Blackhead Gaming. So it definitely was very fun. The atmosphere was just really high. It was fun. People were getting along well. The staff also knew what they were doing. Like, they were able to teach us and help us out when we didn't know what we were doing, or they would just assist us with playing the games. They show us how it works, and it doesn't seem that difficult. I would say if it's a bit difficult for you to put together, or if you just don't want to spend as much time putting it together, definitely grab a friend, definitely grab a family member to help you put it together with. But don't expect too much out of this, because again, this is for kids. It was directed for kids when it was announced, so just remember that. Don't expect something completely overwhelming, but the concept is very overwhelming and it is very fun. I cannot deny that. Other than that, definitely keep your eye out on the Labo. It's definitely something that you should purchase, especially for kids, because I know they'll have a blast with it. Definitely pick up the Labo. It's very fun. I had a blast. I know that it's not something that you should be taking outside, but definitely if you want something that'll keep you entertained at home, the Labo is a must definite pickup.